The student president's coming this morning.
So by all means you can
Baba!
take
Sorry, it's the Gomera section. Mute.
I can because they've got mics on.
Oh, I see.
That's right, I'll start in a few minutes. I mean, feel free to... We'll start now.
Hello. We'll start in about 5 minutes, everyone. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Bloomsbury Dialogues here at Bloomsbury Institute. My name is Faith Masha. I'm a current international student here at Bloomsbury. I'm also your current activity officer. This evening, I'm joined by Baba Mbaye. He's an alumnus at Bloomsbury Institute, and he is a current compliance and licensing officer at Emirates Stadium. So today we will be exploring his journey from Dakar to Bloomsbury Institute, as well as his insights on professional growth and building a global career. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you everyone who's joined us physically and everyone who's tuned in online. So without further ado, let's get started. Hello, Baba. How are you today?
Not too bad, thank you.
Amazing, amazing. So let's get started. The first question I wanted to ask you is, what did you study here at Bloomsbury Institute?
I started from the foundation in Bloomsbury from scratch, and I've got a very valid reason why. It's because I was in the retail industry as a manager. And when I wanted to go back to higher education, I didn't have a clue about the academic world. Therefore, I decided to start from scratch. So I did the foundation and then end up with a first-class marketing degree. So, and then, like we said back home, the appetite comes while you're eating. So then I carried on and ended up with a distinction on my MBA. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. Can you tell us a bit about your journey from first moving over from Dakar to London and starting a bit with your studies?
Yes, it was in 1992 when I finished my education in Senegal and about to go to university. So as I wanted to learn electronics because I had passion with electronics when I was younger, my parents decided to send me down to London to study electronics. When I came in, I enrolled as an overseas student. Obviously, Senegal being a French-speaking country, I had to study English first. I started by studying English. When I finished my English with my first certificate, then I enrolled into an electronic course. I did my BTEC in system control and then my HND in telecommunication. And that's where everything started because while I was studying and paying for my study, I had to work in the retail industry in a small supermarket because I was paying my own studies. Those days we didn't have these easy things such as bursary or whatever. So then by the time I finished my HND in telecommunication, I was already a senior deputy manager in the supermarket. That's how I started the retail industry, and I never used my electronics and telecommunication qualifications.
Wow.
So that's how I carried on into the retail industry. And actually, until I left the retail industry, I had minimum of 15 to 20 years experience in retail management. I worked for most of the retailers, the retailers in London, except probably few of them, like such as Tesco's or whatever.
Wow, that is amazing. That must have been a huge step of courage to just step into a whole other country and just basically restart your life. Was there any sort of challenges you faced when moving here, and how did you navigate through them?
I didn't have many challenges, to be honest. Those days were completely different to now. So you see, everything was easy. So yeah, I carried on with my studies while I was working, paid for my own studies. Yeah, and while I was, like I said, working, studying, I was promoted at work, and then I realized that retail was there for me.
Yeah.
Why go back and do something else? And actually, the only time I left retail at that level and went back to it is when I joined the police, the Metropolitan Police. Yeah, in between, I was a police officer for 2 years, and after my probation, I left because there were lots of things around it.
Yeah.
Those days, he wasn't like now as well, where policing in London was very, very, very bad in terms of crimes and so on. Yeah.
Wow, wow. Can you tell us a bit more about your police experience?
The police experience, the thing is, what I discovered is when I went and joined the police, is after a while I realized that they were looking for people from the ethnic minorities. They did a big campaign, but I was in it already. So I went to Hendon, did everything I needed to do, came back to the station, and I was posted in the station called Stoke Newington. Yeah, and I live in Hackney. It was so close.
Yeah.
So then I was moved from Stoke Newington and sent to Shoreditch. And when I was in Shoreditch as well, so it wasn't too bad. But those days, the crime rate in London was unbelievable. And it's exactly when they were like loads of stabbing, police officers stabbing,
yes.
yeah. That's when they introduced this stab vest and all those kind of things, with the use of firearms start to be a big thing in London. I can still remember the Operation Trident, it was called those days. The Met did a good job on it. And after my probation, me and most of the people I knew within the force did leave anyway, because the Met those days were not somewhere someone want to be and work. It was so dangerous. And then you lose your friends because they don't trust you because you're a police officer. Yeah. The street, they will not like you, obviously. And up to now, people do not realize the police is here for them. The police is here to protect and help people. But unfortunately, that perception is not there. People see them as enemies and so on. Yeah.
Wow, wow. So you've done a lot. I wanted to ask how you were able to properly find that work and school balance as you were still doing all this and studying at the same time. How were you able to balance that at the same time?
Yeah, like I said, those days it wasn't too bad because I was working in a small supermarket, and the owner had 3 major supermarkets only those days. So I was working in the one in Maidavale and raise money just to pay my studies. First, it was English, and when I went to the College of Northwest London as well, so those days I used to go to college, from college go straight to the supermarket and do some late shifts because I wouldn't be able to do the early shift. I was in college and weekends. So that's how I used to do it. Yeah. To be honest, it wasn't very hard. It wasn't very hard because at the college level as well, those days as well, you get lots of help and support.
You also mentioned that growing up that you were really interested in technology. Was there anything that kept you inspired while you were still studying here?
While I was, it's way back home. When I was younger, I was these kids that always go and try to have something in his hand, try to repair something, radios here, and so on. Yeah, that's how I started to really like to study. I wanted to study electronics. Yeah, and even before I came over, I used to go around houses getting paid to repair TVs and do some antenna installations and so on. Yeah, so I was very good in terms of electronics. Yeah, but unfortunately, when I came in after my BTEC and my HND, so like I said, I was already a senior deputy manager in the supermarket. So there was no way for me to go back. So I've never used those knowledge or those qualifications as a technician.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I became, after that, when I left that company, after being a senior deputy manager, so I think I went to my next retail job was with Lidl as a deputy store manager, then store manager in Lidl. After Lidl, I left and went to Asda for 10 years, Asda and Morrison's. I think it's a year and a half. After that, Sainsbury's, 3 years, yeah. And then I got, I really had enough of retail. So I decided, I had it. Yeah. And all this journey in the retail industry, I was mainly on nights. So can you imagine working 15 years on a night shift?
Oh, no.
Yeah, where every single day in the morning when the day managers come in, yeah, that's it. It's all criticism. This is not done, that's not done, you have to do this, and so on. Yeah. So there were not many supports in there.
Yeah.
And on top of that, any position to be, for example, a level 5, because I was a level 4 with my last job in the retail industry, will go straight to the day managers. Night managers were just like hotcakes, because they were needed badly, and not many people wanted to yeah. I reached a stage where most of these companies I worked for, yeah, they would not even give me pay rise.
Wow.
Because when you work every single year, you get pay rise because they don't want you to do, you reach a level where you are so highly paid with your £5,000 allowance for working night, then you are stuck. And I said, you know what, enough is enough. Let me go back to the higher education, get a degree or an MBA and see what else I can do.
Wow. Wow, that is amazing. And that's also, it's really interesting to hear your insight, even about you working as well, because a lot of us have to fund our own education as well. So it's great to hear from you from that. Speaking a bit about education, what exactly was how did you find your experience here at Bloomsbury overall? Did you find a support system here?
Like I say, I started at the foundation level because I didn't have a clue about the academic world. Meaning that whatever I get, whatever level I'm at, every single thing is down to Bloomsbury, thanks to Bloomsbury. Because before I joined Bloomsbury, obviously you speak English, you can write, read, do your things or whatever, but in terms of, like I said, academic world, I didn't have a clue. And I'm very, very glad I started from scratch all the way up, because I know that someone told me that I could take all this experience I had, managerial experience, and use it as credit so I can go to certain level. But I think I made the right decision to start from the bottom. So yeah. And in Bloomsbury, I learned a lot. Yeah. And the other thing is the kind of people I met in Bloomsbury is amazing. I feel that I met more people that I ever met outside there from even 1992 till now. Because at work, people come and go, you don't see them or whatever. But I was graduated nearly last year, and I'm in Bloomsbury right now, and people still call my name. People still using my name, meaning that it's just like a family, I'll be honest, And also the level of help, support you get in terms of your studies, research, and so on is amazing. Yeah.
Yes,
I'm very, very, very glad I went through Bloomsbury. I don't know if I would be able to make it if it was somewhere else. Yeah, but I was a bit lucky as well because I had lots of experience in terms of businesses before I got in.
Right.
That makes it so easy for me. I just need the theory bit of it. Yeah, but thanks to Bloomsbury and the supports.
Yes, that's one thing about Bloomsbury. The support here is amazing, especially for a lot of international students as well. So you mentioned that your managerial experience also helped you like shape your future career. Are there any more of your past experience that helped you in your career search and in growing your education?
Yes, because I was so lucky to be in the retail industry as a manager few years back.
Right.
The good thing about it is I was there where there were a transition from management, from managers to leader and leadership. Now we don't talk about management anymore. People don't want to talk about it. And I was there. I was a manager. I witnessed it. And those days are totally different to now. Because those days, being a manager is for any member staff, do as you're told. It was just kind of a dictatorship. That's it.
Right.
Yeah. So we didn't have like proper leaders before. No, it was just the managers that are there to tell you what to do. You come in, do it, and that's it. And even in terms of the member staff, they did not have lots of kind of solution or somewhere where to raise those concerns. Yeah, because it's not like now where you've got the unions, you've got the employment tribunal, and so on. There's lots of means where if something goes wrong, then you've got people to help you and support you. And from that transition, we went now to leaders and leadership. So I think I experienced both, and I experienced the transition. Yeah, and in the end, and it's when I was studying leadership in my leadership course in Bloomsbury, then I realized and identified that there were lots of things I was doing and to fit actually the leadership style these people are talking about. And I can tell you now, I can confirm that I've always been a transactional and transformational leader without even knowing what it was. Yeah, but and also I always say that it's always good as well sometimes to add a little bit of 5% or 10% of laissez-faire leadership, because you probably have some member staff that know what they are doing. You don't need to coach them, you don't need to manage them. So that 5-10% of laissez-faire leadership added to these two, I think would make a perfect leader.
Wow. That's amazing. I'm glad we shifted to this topic of leadership as well, because I want to hear your insights about that. So a lot of people think that leadership is more so bossing people around or telling them what to do. And sometimes it is telling them what to do. But from your perspective and from what you've learned, what does leadership mean to you exactly?
Yeah, it's just like I said, there's few style of leadership.
Right.
People can have their own style or identify themselves into one style of leadership. I think I answered this question even before you. So, but the way I say it is like if you're transactional and transformational, so you go and be a leader while you help and support and inspire. Yeah, and on top of that, if you add the reward bits and the punishment bits, which is a transactional leadership style, those two combined, I think, would make a perfect leader. For me, I don't believe that you can stick to one and be successful. And that's when I add the laissez-faire one, because if you're a leader and you've got a group of people or some members of your staff that know what to do, I think the laissez-faire will be used in there. Let them get on with their job, because they know what they are doing, so you don't need to worry them. So then you have to use at least 5 or 10% of that laissez-faire style as well. So for me, a perfect leader is a combination of the three.
Right. Right. What would you say to Bloomsbury students that are trying to access a level of leadership, but they feel themselves held back, maybe because of anxiety or imposter syndrome or any of these other setbacks that we have in our own mind that sort of prevents us from going out and to getting out of our comfort zone? Is there any advice that you would give to them specifically?
I think the main thing there is their personal development, because when you go and study, the theoretical bit is there for you. They teach you all the style and everything around it. Yeah, you probably have to do some kind of coursework or whatever you call it, a seminar, activities, but it's not enough. Yeah. When you go out there, it's the real world. So you see, they teach you the perfect world, but you've got to face the real world. Therefore, the rest is down to you. It's down to you by having a good personal development plan, like I said, and then you have to go by experience and using other people's experience. That's the way I see it, because what you get from Bloomsbury, they've done their bits. The rest is down to the students when they're out there. But there's a major problem. I don't know if it's part of your plan, employment. It's a big problem in London right now. There's a big issue around it, because I did loads of research. When I finished, I started looking for a job, but after a while, then I stopped. Now I'm doing research on it rather than actively looking. And I learned a lot. And hopefully one day I'll be able to share that with students or other people.
Wow, that is very interesting. I just want to know a bit about your current role at Emirates Stadium. What exactly do you do, and what's your day-to-day? What does it look like?
Yes, I think I started 3 years ago, and then I was studying. Because when I decided to study, I had to stop working full-time completely. I did, because for me, I did not believe that I could work full-time and study full-time. So then I started by working security company with the SIA badge, only weekends. So after that, actually Arsenal contacted me to ask me if I was interested in working for them as a licensing officer. And funny enough, that license, I had it when I was store manager with Lidl about nearly 20 years ago. Because being a store manager, you have to be the licensee, because we do sell alcohol. And then I had it like somewhere in my drawer, forgot about it and everything, and it doesn't expire. When I was contacted by Arsenal, casual work, I said, okay, yeah, of course, I can still study and do it. That's how I started. So in the stadium, during match day, anything related to the Alcohol Licensing Act 2003, has to be, we have to be, me and my team members, we are 4, which is not enough. We have to make sure it's implemented within the stadium, because there's a minimum of 6 bars inside. And then we have to make sure we walk around checking on the bars. Most of the people think that this licensing officer's job is easy, because you only have to look up for underage drinking, which is a challenge 25, meaning if someone looks under 25, you ask them for IDs. Yeah, but it's more than that
Yeah.
because you can get across drunk people. Yeah,
True,
yeah.
yeah.
Opening and closing of the bars, very important because if you don't follow it right, yeah, you can lose your license because there's a specific opening and closing, and you're not allowed to open early or close late. Yeah. And obviously, as we go around the stadium, non-stop working from bars to bars, the compliance bit obviously is part of it because you cannot just walk and ignore some issues around it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, meaning that I'm on my shift sometimes 7 hours or whatever. I'm on my feet, walking around the stadium non-stop.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That is a lot
Yeah.
of work. That
Work.
sounds like a lot. But I also wanted to ask. We mentioned your journey at Bloomsbury Institute. We mentioned how you found a lot of connection here. You found a lot of community here. I want to know what exactly drew you into Bloomsbury firsthand. So we know that there was that community presence. We know that there were people that were able to help you and you were able to start that foundation. What else drew you here and kept you here?
Yeah, when I started, like I said, from scratch, foundation came in, and then first of all is, like I said, how welcoming people were.
Yeah.
That's number one. Second of all, the professionalism in there, and I had some really, really, really good lecturers. They had really
That's
good
important,
lecturers.
yeah.
Yeah, very important. And these lecturers did help a lot in terms of academic writing and how you can settle in, how you can prepare yourself, and so on. So after the first year, I start feeling confident. Like I said, when you start eating, then the appetite will come, join you, and so on. Yeah, and I wasn't doing too bad, so then I said, okay, so yeah, I think this is for me.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I want to shift the conversation slightly and focus on what students can learn from your journey. So I want to know what other qualities do you think, besides leadership, that students should focus on growing professionally to be able to pursue a global career?
Yeah, so in terms of the global career, I did a little bit of research in there, but it's more or less the same issue that people will have in there, because it's all down to experience. Now, recruiters will not recruit someone with just a degree or just an MBA. Yeah, I went through hundreds and hundreds of job offers everywhere in different platforms. Yeah, but whenever you go down, where they said that the requirement, they want someone with experience in that field. So internationally, same thing about the UN or wherever you take, they want someone that has experience, specific experience for that position, and sometimes for between 3 and 5 years experience. Meaning that the new graduate will not have the chance just to jump and go there straight away. So what I would advise is, like I said, personal development. And while I was doing my personal development, I learned a lot specifically in terms of how to write a CV, what kind of CV to write, and hopefully these people from Emirates Stadium, all these students I talk around here will confirm this. Yeah, I help them a lot by telling them, okay, how they should write their CVs, what is needed in there, and so on. I wrote 2 articles in LinkedIn, and one was regarding use of AI by the recruiters, because for there, I don't think it's fair to ask me not to use AI and they use AI. It's in there. And the other one was directly to some of them that have a different view in terms of being overqualified. Because I think are fine, and I spoke to lots of people that I'm overqualified. With 20 years experience in retail management, and like I said, with an MBA with distinction, first class degree, yeah, and about nearly 10 different certifications I've got, yeah, and I think people will not jump and see the opportunity directly to hire me. They probably, you see what I mean? So I consider myself as overqualified, and some professional people did tell me the same thing and so on. So going back to your question, I think the students, the new graduate, need to first of all work on how to create an outstanding CV, how to write a proper letter of motivation as well, which is very important, because now what we talk about is you have to sell yourself.
It's true.
Yeah. Funny enough, there's one job I applied as a licensing officer in one of the council. So yeah, so I just wrote about different, let's say 10 lines on my motivation letter, because I knew someone that works in there. He said that, oh, the boss said that you didn't sell you didn't sell yourself enough. That's why you didn't get the job.
Oh wow.
I said, okay. So he told me, oh, I can help you to write it down. I said, no, you don't need to. Then I sent him another cover letter and letter of motivation. He read it and said, wow, why did you send this one in the first place? Yeah,
Oh, wow.
that's
Wow.
when I started to understand that, okay, yeah, what they want is probably 2 pages where you talk about yourself, where you basically sell yourself.
Yeah.
For me, it doesn't make sense. But unfortunately, that's how they see it.
That's how it works.
Yeah, yeah. So after the CV, the motivation letter, and so on, I think students should start also doing some kind of what we call casual work. I was discussing it earlier, because that's what I'm doing. So I'm working for Arsenal, yeah, and I'm working for an American company that is a marketing company, and it's a casual work because the pay is based on the task completed. They are based in central London.
Wow. Okay.
And then you work from home. Yeah. If you are given the task on the app, you accept it. It's up to you to whenever you want to do it, but as long as you meet the deadline. Then every task completed, you've got paid.
Wow.
So if you don't want to take any task, you don't take the task. So you control your life around it, which is very good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I want all the students to start looking into doing some casual work. There's thousands of jobs in there. Yeah, in the stadiums, for example. Yeah, summer event, cricket, Wimbledon, rugby.
That's true.
Yeah, I'm telling you,
Yeah.
there's
Wimbledon is
too
very popular.
too many jobs in there. And then once they do this kind of jobs, people will always think that, oh man, I cannot add that to my CV. Yes, they can.
Yeah.
Yes, they can. And the trick there is when you add it to your CV, on your motivation letter, that's where you have to clearly notify the recruiter that you've got some transferable skill. Let's say, for example, it's mainly customer service job, yeah, being a steward. Yeah, that's where you tell them that you've got some transferable skill from your casual job, from your stewarding job, and so on, into the job offers. You have to let them know, otherwise they will not think for you. You see what I mean? So that's why I said that everything is down to the student's personal development. When you finish uni, it's down to you. Make sure you use your time wisely. Yeah. So that I think by doing all this, following certain advice, yeah, hopefully something will come up. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, thank you for that insight on personal development, because I think that sometimes students will keep their experience and their studying to the books, which isn't a bad thing, but it's also important to go out and have these experiences and to be able to develop themselves even just outside of the classroom as well. That's very, very important. Thank you for sharing that. I wanted to ask if there are any sort of habits that you have in your everyday life that can keep you motivated and keep you developing yourself in your day-to-day.
Well, I've got lots of time for myself. If I'm not at work, I do my task. If I finish my task from this company, this marketing company, I've got time for myself. I've got my laptop at home. I'm on it. I'm on LinkedIn to have a look to see what's going on in there. And like I said, going back a little bit, what students should know is when they go into that platform, they've got opportunity to speak to the recruitment manager, which is very important.
That's true.
Yeah, you've got opportunity to send them messages directly and speak to them. Because if someone receives 500 applications, do you think they're going to care about who you are? But if you send them a message, you may have a better chance than others. And people don't realize they've got these opportunities in there. So most of my time, like I said, it's just about doing researches, and so on.
Yeah, I like this encouragement for students to also be proactive, because a lot of this is getting out of your comfort zone and networking and speaking to other people and just be able to have that conversation and that connection, but also just being able to, as we said before, sell yourself, because in a way this can be a business, and it's important to be able to know the skills that you have and to develop them correctly. So I want to just reach forward back into your experience at Bloomsbury. I want to know, did you feel, I know you said you had a lot of connections here, what other ways did you feel like your voice was sort of heard in this atmosphere? Because I know a lot of students come into a new environment, especially international students, and they feel it can be a daunting experience. So they may feel a bit confused or a bit scared, but I want to know what other ways you felt your voice was heard coming here and in that growth and connection.
Yeah, I think it's down to people's personalities. People are different.
True. Yes.
And I tell you, some of my fellow students can confirm this. Even within the classroom, some students would not ask questions to the lecturers. They'd rather come to me. And I'm a student as well, just like them. So I'm the kind of person that is so open. I'm open to everyone. So that's why everyone knows me. I was just telling earlier that I'd probably change my name. Maybe Baba is so easy, everyone knows Baba. If I go to my first name, maybe that would make it hard and people will just probably not. But it's up to the people, to the individuals. Me, I ask questions, I go to people, I'm very open, and I think I created that atmosphere myself. And then when you create that atmosphere and you find people that are so professional, people that will spend their time to help you, to guide you, it makes it so easy. It makes it so easy. And I can remember at some stage, even some members of staff was going towards the student, to make sure, rather than waiting for them to go towards them, they were going towards the student, try to identify if they had any issues and so on. Good. I think all the tools are there. It's just for students to use.
Just for them to feel comfortable to access it. So for students, like you mentioned, students just sitting down in class, not even be able to speak up to their lecturers. For students who feel like they can't speak up, whether it be in school or work or in other opportunities, what advice do you have for them in those situations?
Well, in those situations, I think the first step would be other fellow students should get involved to support them. Because like I said, if it's someone's personality, it's not from one day to another that will change it. If they cannot talk to to the lecturers or to the members of staff or whatever. Like we say, we've got some reps in there. They can go and talk to their reps, or they can talk between students. Yeah, and obviously, if they have issues that goes beyond that, yeah, they can go and speak to their rep, and the rep will take it further. Yeah, because I don't think that we can do much in as such, because it's down to the person personalities.
Exactly,
Yeah.
that's true. Yeah, it's also down to their initiative as well. If they end up feeling as comfortable to be able to speak to other people. So I want to know, what sort of mindset do you think people should have? Well, preferably students. What mindset do you think they should always carry with them when going into situations where they may be networking, or situations where they're stepping out their comfort zone? What do you think should be on their mind? Like, what approach should they always take to things like this?
For me, the first thing is to prioritize. I will not say just their studies or their life. If you decide to become a student and you want to succeed, you want to have your degree or your MBA, I think it's more than fair for you to be able to say that, okay, this is my priority, so I will concentrate on this. My mindset will be specifically to make sure I achieve what I want. Unfortunately, some of the students will not have that mindset. For them, okay, no matter what or how they will get it, okay, let's go and work then full-time there. Try to combine both. But you cannot work full-time all day or all night and the following day come to class. You see what I mean? So I think people should be more serious about their studies, make sure they concentrate on their studies, yeah. If they want to work, if they want us financial support or whatever, they can go and work part-time. To full-time, I don't believe in it. That's why I told you, when I decided to study, I went and do some security jobs until I started with Arsenal. Yeah. So networking is very important. And in Bloomsbury, there's lots of ways, to use some network through all this canvas, the emailing. Yeah, the tools are there. It's up to the students to use. You know.
Well, that has been some amazing insight. Well, that's all the questions I have. But thank you so much, Baba, for sharing all of your insight and all your advice. It's been amazing to hear your story. I'm going to also pass it over to Q&As. So if everyone has any questions, they are free to ask now.
Yes.
Thanks so much, Faith. We do have questions online as well. So we'll start for those who are in the room, because they always get preferential treatment for making it here, despite the strikes and all sorts of stuff in London. So has anybody got any questions from the room? Yes?
Thank you very much, Baba and Faith. I don't know whether we should thank Faith, because I think she's asked all the questions and left us with none. But I loved what you said about connection and community and how you found that when you came to Bloomsbury Institute and how important that was for you. And I wondered, in your role as a manager or working with people or managing people, what do you do to create community and connection for them, and what impact does it have?
In my past experience, you mean?
In your past or your current experience working with people?
Almost all the companies or big companies in England have got that specific area where, for example, if you work for a company and the HR will always have to organize something related to the community. So it depends on the level you are at. At the store manager level, for example, you're probably going to have someone that could be a community champion within your team that will only look after that. And then that's when you're going to have to work with the local communities, the council, and so on. I think most of the companies in England have got that design already, just like the CSR. If it's there, it's designed. You as a manager, you come in, you'll find it there. You leave it there. So, and it's all budgetized as well. So I think the managers, the way they use the budget, maybe that's where they'll have the influence. But it's all designed, it's there. From my past experience, with all the companies I went through, we had that in place already. Yeah.
Lovely. Thank you very much. Anybody else in the room? No? Everybody happy? Okay, so I'll just go online if that's okay. And we do have a few questions. You may have answered some of these already. We have a question in the chat. What is the most memorable day? If you can pin it down to one day at Bloomsbury Institute, what is the most memorable day you had in your experience here studying?
While I was studying, or because I think that will be probably my day one.
Ah, okay.
My day one, like I said, because I did not have the experience of a university. I didn't know nothing about academic world. I just came from the retail management and enrolled and up, here we go. And when I came in and I sat down and I said, oh, the serious business is starting now. Yeah. So, yeah. And I can still remember the person I had in front of me that day, which was Sarah, to do the I think the induction also.
Sarah Bailey, yeah.
The very first day, just to let you know that I still remember it.
Lovely. Lovely. And I can just say the love hearts are pinning online right now as a result of that particular answer, so thank you for that. I think you might have answered this. What advices would you have for the new generation? And I'm guessing that might be for like current students, perhaps. Or I think you did answer that in relation to leadership. I think that's fair enough. Mm-hmm. And I've got a question for you. Uh-huh. Will Arsenal win the league?
Oh, this is. I will start by saying this. I'm not Arsenal fan, funny enough. So when I judge, I will judge as a normal football fan, but not Arsenal fan.
Oh, okay.
But because I'm working for Arsenal, number one, I'm hoping for them to win.
Okay.
And number two, I think from what they've got left in terms of games, after all the mistakes they make, they are not allowed to make another mistake. Let's wait for City to lose one of their games, and for Arsenal to be the champion.
We'll see what happens. There is a question for Faith. So there is a question, and maybe we'll finish on this one, Faith, and then you can wrap it up after you answer the question. What has been your takeaway from meeting Bobbitt this evening?
Ooh.
You just hold that up to you.
Oh, I believe my takeaway, I've learned so much from just meeting him. I would say my takeaway is that we as students, we juggle so much in our daily life, and it's up to us to find that initiative. It's up to us to lift ourselves up and find that passion, find that community in the people around us, and find that connection, and to be able to speak up and to tell people, hey, I'm feeling this, or hey, I'm feeling that, or just to be able to just bring out or pull out our hearts and be able to pour it out to other people. And even in our daily studies where we are sitting down in our classroom, we should be able to connect with our classmates and people around us, because that's the way that we'll develop ourselves and build our own skills and grow as students and as professional leaders in the future. But yeah. That's all we have for today. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Baba.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you all for having me on here. And we will meet next time at Bloomsbury Dialogues here at Bloomsbury Institute. Goodbye, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. Bye.
We're clear.
I was just going to, I didn't get a chance to ask. So, oh no.